Hey kids, welcome back to Bible Study for Kids. It's Nina Sarai here again, and now that you've learned all about the book of Genesis chapter 1, let's jump right into the book of Genesis chapter 2. Grab your notebooks and take some notes. If you've missed any previous videos, go ahead and catch up and then come back. Don't worry, I'll be here for you when you get back. Okay, so Genesis chapter 2. After all the wondrous work God had done in 6 days, once the heavens and the earth were finished, God rested on the seventh day, and he blessed the seventh day and sanctified it. That means he set it apart from the others and declared it a holy day, a day dedicated to God. Let's move on. So now chapter 2 begins to go back to the sixth day to explain how man was actually created. You may have been wondering, did God just clap his hands twice and humans just filled the earth? No, not quite. Here's what happened. There came up a mist from the earth that watered the whole face of the ground. So just picture the entire ground wet. Well, then God formed a man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And that man became a living soul. So basically, the first human was made out of dirt and water. God called him Adam, and the name Adam is known to mean son of the earth. And that's because he was literally formed out of the earth. Okay, so let's move on. Now, God created a garden in a place called Eden, and he put Adam in that garden. And God grew many beautiful trees in that garden that had delicious fruit on them. There was also a tree called the tree of life, and there was a tree called the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Dun, dun, dun. We'll talk about that tree in a bit. Then chapter 2 goes on to tell us more about the Garden of Eden and how amazing it was. It had a river that parted into 4 separate rivers. Those 4 rivers circulated different lands. The first river was called Pison. The second river was called Gihon. The third river was called Hiddekel. And the fourth river was called Euphrates. Okay, so God had put Adam into that garden so that he could take care of the garden. You know, like a gardener. And God told Adam that he could eat from any of the trees except for, dun dun dun, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. God said that if he did eat from that tree, he would surely die. I wonder what was up with that tree. Did it have a poisonous apple like in Snow White? Let's find out. So, God is really kind, and he felt like Adam could use someone else to be with him. He didn't want Adam to be alone. He actually said, "It is not good that the man should be alone." So God said he'd make a helpmeet for Adam, someone to help him and go through life with him. And can you guess who God would get to be a helper for Adam? Let's see if you're right. But before we do that, remember all those animals God created on the 5th and 6th days? Well, guess who got to name them? Adam. God brought all the animals to Adam, and whatever Adam called them, then that's what their names were. Okay, now let's find out who God chose to make to be a companion for Adam. So God put Adam into a deep sleep. Maybe he hypnotized him and said, "You're getting sleepy. You're getting sleepy." I'm not sure. But what I do know is it had to be the deepest sleep ever, because while Adam was asleep, God took one of his ribs and then just closed his body right on back up. Adam didn't feel a thing. Why would God take Adam's rib? Well, he used Adam's rib to make a woman. You heard that right. A woman actually came from a man. Say what now? Yeah. And when God brought her to Adam, Adam said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She should be called woman because she was taken out of man." Yeah, interesting, right? So what just happened here with Adam and this woman is known as the very first marriage. This is why when a man and woman gets married, they are to leave their mothers and fathers to unite together and commit to one another. It's a very tight bond that they have with one another, and it's an important union to God. And lastly, chapter 2 ends by letting us know that Adam and his new wife were naked, and they were not ashamed about it. We'll talk more about that in the next video when we get into chapter 3. You guys are doing great. Don't forget to follow and hit the bell to get notified so you don't miss any info. Also, if you have any questions, Leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. See you soon. Bye-bye now. Adam said,